Hi and welcome to the Cult TV Sofa. This is a reaction video for the 6th episode of the only season of My So-Called Life. You can check out the full reaction for this video on my Patreon channel. Check out the link in the description below. Last time we saw Angela's on-off friend Sharon have a new boyfriend. People were starting to notice that Sharon was developing in certain areas, let's say. Some boys created a top 40 list of sophomore girls, and Sharon was being recognised for her achievements on the list. Rayanne was also on the list as most slut potential, and she seemed to relish the attention this gave her with boys, so fair play to her, I suppose. Angela was getting paranoid about a spot that was on her chin. Angela's mum wanted her to take part in the annual mother-daughter fashion show for charity. Angela wasn't too keen to do it, but her sister Danielle was, but kept getting overlooked. Angela eventually told her mum that she felt ugly, and that was the reason she didn't want to take part in the event with her. A combination of the spot, hormones, the list, probably had something to do with her feelings. Angela and Sharon had a conversation that seemed to start healing some of the issues between them. And seeing how much Danielle wanted to do the event with her mother, Angela suggested that she do it instead, which she did. So let's see what happens in this episode. I'm going to put any relevant trivia that I find over here, and at the end of the reaction I'll be discussing what happened and my thoughts about it. And I'm going to start it in 3, 2, 1. So yeah, every kind of episode we've seen so far, her and Sharon, Angela and Sharon, seem to be getting a little bit fixed.
Maybe teachers have a hidden life where they're actually like human.
My dad was a teacher for 40 odd years, and my brother is a teacher, and my sister-in-law is a teacher, so yeah, I can relate. He's always reading when everyone else is messing around. Can't remember his name. Recognise him as an actor. I think he's British.
So why are you here? You a new substitute?
That's all. Continue wasting your lives. Do you want to be dismissed?
No, you just said that.
Is he doing reverse psychology?
What's the catch?
His
No
accent's
catch.
awful.
You don't want to be here? Go. I'm not going to stop you. Well, there is just, one catch.
What?
We will be discussing you in your absence. Trashing you in your absence will help pass the time. And it could possibly be educational as well.
Unmatching socks. Mismatched socks.
I know what you meant. That was sarcasm.
Definitely British.
One of the things we were supposed to do this semester, the literary magazine, like we each wrote something. It's in there. So, could you just at least read it so we could get credit for it?
He's obviously popular with his classmates.
Anyway, I need you to take Danielle to the cookie booth and back tomorrow night. I signed her up.
Oh, you sign her up.
And he does it.
Fine.
Yeah.
Call Neil. Cancel our pool game.
Oh. Well, last time he was meant to be playing pool with Neil, that's when he was meeting that woman. They're meant to have split up. Was he, or is he meant to be meeting Neil, or is that just his general excuse for meeting up with someone?
One of us has to call Angela's English teacher, I think her name is Mayhew, and see if they want us to print the Lit magazine again this year.
There is no Mrs. Mayhew now. She's left. Well, they would have sat there while he reads them.
I had the privilege of reading your entries for the Liberty Lit. Boring. You.
He did stay.
Yes, I know what you're going to say, that they're synonyms, meaning not genuine.
He was not going to say that.
Not verbs, not nouns, but
Adjective.
adjectives! Woo! Don't you dare play dumb with me again.
So he's trying to get the most out of the pupil. He's the one who is trying to leave. He's obviously the one who doesn't want to be there. So he's kind of picking on him is not the right word, but he's focusing a bit on him to try and show him that he's not as stupid as he thinks he is, and that he can do the work if he applies himself, basically.
I don't believe this guy.
This is the most god-awful crap I've ever read in my life.
Oh! Bet Brian's not going to be too happy about that.
Her oak tree poem. I loved that one. Why does it have this footprint?
Did he go out to look for them?
This new substitute who's like mentally ill. Seriously.
No, he's not mentally ill.
So he's the kind of teacher that's, he's being shown as a teacher who kind of breaks the rules. He's a rebel. He gets on with the students. He doesn't follow the rules and just do set lesson plans and things. So yeah, students like Brian, who are very straight and want to do things properly, are not going to like him, whereas the other students who, like Jordan, are going to start to like him and get on with him. But yeah, it looks like Brian went out to find all the paperwork that was thrown out the window afterwards. I don't know whether he found his own, but he found Angela's with a footprint.
You worked very hard on that poem. You put a lot of thought into it.
It's not great that he threw it out the window.
Haven't we always taught you to stand up for your rights?
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah. So they've all done new work? Jordan didn't.
That's your name, right?
He knows his name, yeah.
I appreciate the fact you don't want to monopolize the discussion, but I mean, come on.
He is focusing on him.
I just think what you did yesterday wasn't right. I mean, that oak tree poem?
What's his comeback going to be?
I put a lot of thought into that.
I did it to wake you up. I did it to do something. To find you. And now guess what? Here you are, wide awake, right in front of me. That was yesterday. What are you going to write today?
I kind of get what he's saying. Well, no, I do get what he's saying, but it's still not a great way of doing it. But like you said, it kind of worked. It worked for her, but did it work for other students? His accent's really distracting me. It's really bad. I'm sure he's a British actor, and he's putting on it sounds kind of like it's meant to be like a New York accent, I think. Forget about it, sort of thing. But it's his accent's as convincing as mine. It's bad. He's no Hugh Laurie. I don't know if you've seen, if you've watched House. Hugh Laurie, who plays the main character there, is a British actor. He's a really posh British actor, but he does quite a good American accent. In fact, there's quite a few British actors who do good American accents in American shows. Not him.
Brian, you're not in this class, so neither are half these kids. Come on, you've been talking about him for 3 days.
She's actually bringing in students.
I want everyone to start over. I don't want to see any domesticated animals or greenery.
The oak tree.
I want honesty.
Excuse me, could I say something?
No. Write it down. Whatever you feel like saying, write it down instead. And don't fear exposure. No one is to put his or her name down.
I'm not in this class.
You're not? Where are you? I mean, how could you say you're not here?
When you are. Yeah, if you're going to be there, might as well interact. I don't understand. It's like they're all turned up and they don't bother. No one does any work. In British schools, you do the work. You might not do it very well, but you do the work. You get marked on it. You did exams. I mean, how do they get through and pass? I know Jordan didn't. He's gone back two times, but I don't quite understand. I'm assuming not all classes are like this, but it's not like it's one of the lower classes as such, because Brian's there. I mean, Angela seems to do quite fairly well at work, so it's a mixture of abilities. Seems odd to me.
Where do we go from here?
Jordan's there.
We go further.
Standing room only. It's like you again in my school. Everyone has set classes to go to. There's no. Oh, in the sixth form, we had some free time between lessons, but you couldn't go to someone else's lesson. You'd be thrown out. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't even be thrown out. It would never happen. Although I did. In college, I did go to a few lectures that I wasn't part of. Not in school, but in college. But that was for a girl. She didn't want to go to them on her own, so I went with her. They were kind of related to my course, but I wasn't meant to be in them. It was a huge lecture hall, so nobody would notice. Yeah. Brian just looks, everyone else is happy and he's the only one who's uncomfortable. Alright. Are they actually getting engaged? Are they learning? That's the question. That'll be a yes. They are all working in a fire hazard. They're all going to read out someone else's work. I bet Jordan's is going to be the most raw one. That's going to be quite good because he will have put everything down onto it properly. What he's feeling.
This one has a title. It's called A Fable.
That's hers.
She found herself walking down a crowded street, but the people were made of paper, like paper dolls.
It makes you feel. Makes you wonder.
He knows.
Wakes you up.
Yeah, he knows.
I'm not gonna read this.
Just read.
Look, I really...
Read it!
It's called Haiku for Him.
Haiku.
He peels off my clothes like a starving man would peel an orange.
Is it Rayanne's?
Taste my juicy...
Is this a real haiku?
Oh, good question. I didn't pay attention.
Look up haiku.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's haikus. Is it eight lines? Oh, I can't remember. I'll have information here. I'm assuming it's going to be, if they've called it a haiku for him, then to call it that, they would probably make it a haiku unless it is a some kind of breaking the mold kind of thing that they've done. I don't know. But yeah, I'll have information on what a haiku is, the definition of it here. If I remember, I'll try and go back and listen to it again and say whether it is or not. I'm sure they'll reveal it in a minute.
Just because it's not a real haiku, that doesn't mean you're not going to print it in the paper, right?
You're gonna print that in the lit?
I don't see why not.
So it wasn't a haiku.
Gently, one at a time, one at a time.
Ryan looks so upset. But everyone else does seem to be engaging in the class.
What's the word? What's the sound?
Why is he there?
Finish the chapter and the next 10 poems tonight.
What?
My wife and I, we run a small printing shop.
Ah, he's there about the printing.
Anyway, I come by for the submissions for the lit.
You know that kid that just left here, that extremely smart kid? Well, it seems nobody ever bothered to notice that he never quite learned how to read.
So I think he means that literally, that Jordan can't read, or at least read properly. Yeah, that's just awful to be in a class and not being able to read. And I mean not on multiple levels. Bad for the pupil, and it's bad for the teachers not notice things like that. My dad was head of the special needs department in the school, so pupils who did need extra help, Jordan would be part of that. Either learning difficulties or just struggling, or disabilities. They all those sort of pupils sort of came under his remit. So it's crazy to have if it is completely true that he can't read, a student like that in the mainstream class, because he'll always be behind. He'll never be able to catch up. He needs more focused help, which this teacher seems to be trying to do, to get him to a basic level. You can't do that in a mainstream class like that.
Well, this substitute is cool.
He's tried to be.
You know what we need? A sample of her handwriting.
Who are we, the KGB? Mayday.
Is that Angela's? Let me see. Oh my God.
Are they going to leave out? Oh.
No.
Ooh.
No way, I'm not going to print that.
What happened to freedom of expression?
Screw it.
Oh, they're going to make like an editorial decision not to print something. That's not good, and that's really going to upset the student whose it was. Ooh.
I'll call the substitute person and explain. I mean, come on, that doesn't belong in the lit.
You don't think?
They didn't recognise their daughter's handwriting. You can tell it's him because he's like lying on the table.
There's this one piece in particular that I just don't feel comfortable printing.
So, this is just censorship for censorship's sake.
What?
Okay, hand them over. This journal should be about giving students a voice, not about having their thoughts edited.
I do agree. I do agree with him. And that is the most, it's a very open poem that they wouldn't normally have written. But I also understand that they're going to be adults, teachers. I would suspect that the principal wouldn't be happy with it. It'll get blocked. It'll probably never. The whole document, the lit magazine, whatever. I bet it'll get pulped. It'll never happen because of that one poem. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. What he's done though has got the pupils to be much more open and to write things they would never have written before, which isn't a bad thing. But I understand that particular poem's an issue.
But do you think you should be in the position of deciding because you have a printing press and I don't?
She shouldn't.
No. So,
Did Angela write it?
did Angela write it?
You'd recognise your daughter's handwriting. I recognise my brother, sisters, my mum and dad's handwriting. If I saw it, I'd know immediately it was theirs. I don't think that magazine. I think the magazine will be created, but I don't think any of the copies will see the light of day. It'll get pulped, censored. So there are people who wouldn't. He's the principal. They're the pupils who wouldn't normally try so hard, but now they're eager to read the magazine, which he's noticed, but it's not going to make a difference. Even the staff are reading. He's going to blow his gasket.
Plus, she has no self-esteem and she'd like sign her name. Look, he said not to sign it, okay?
Oh, I assumed it was Rayanne, which I assume
You?
Oh, it was her.
So?
We obviously meant to think it was Rayanne. I have to admit, when it says haiku, I was surprised that Rayanne knew what a haiku was. Yeah.
Oh, God, do you know how over my life will be when people find out I wrote it? Do you know how over mine's gonna be when they find
You
out
didn't.
You mean people think you wrote it?
Well, yeah.
Let her take the credit.
So why can't we just let them keep thinking that?
Yeah. That's the simple answer.
Ran, not... Hi. Hi.
Hey,
So now they're starting to talk.
Foster has the lit. Has it, like every copy except a few that people stole or something.
Told you.
Because of your haiku thing.
I knew it. Yeah. Saw that one coming.
Vic had the most amazing idea.
Vic.
Stage a make-believe book
Called
burning?
him first name.
Because, you know, Nazis burn books. So, I mean, is that what Foster's saying? That a school should burn books like Nazis?
She's all fired up about it, which that wouldn't have happened in a normal English class. And so yeah, there is that.
Teacher Vic. You call him Vic?
Yeah.
It's his name. He's an adult I can look up to. Finally.
Oh!
What?
Meant to look up to your parents.
It's not exciting. It's important. It's an important issue.
Technically, it's our property. It's our classwork. He has to give it to us.
No, it's school property.
Everyone, please take their seats.
Oh.
I must hold school-authorized publications to certain standards of decency. Anyone found distributing the journal will be suspended from school.
Mr. AC! I'm here! Mr. AC!
My captain, my captain.
All that crap about honesty and truth. What a jerk. He didn't even teach.
He did teach. What?
He did teach.
He was the best teacher I ever had.
He didn't teach traditionally, but he did teach. And they've all learned.
Vic, is it true? Are you fired?
Yeah, you could say that.
Could say that. Didn't say he was fired.
But my daughter, he got her thinking, you know? And questioning. Which is, I mean, isn't that what all of this is supposed to be about?
In theory.
Because I didn't.
You didn't fire him.
Never had that particular pleasure, no. And then he quit. Right after I showed him this. It's the copy of a subpoena for failure to pay child support to a family he deserted months ago.
So we blackmailed him?
He deserted his family. That's the story of Mr. Victor Racine.
You can't tell her that. You can't tell Angela that because that'll destroy her image of this, I don't want to say perfect teacher, but teacher who's inspired her. And yeah, that could wreck things for her.
Wish he hadn't told me.
Yeah.
Now what do I do?
Don't tell her.
You tell her the truth.
No,
She can handle it.
not that one. Shouldn't tell her that. It's not her business. No, it's not their business to know. That's a bit weird.
I looked you up in the phone book.
I broke out of a prison of my own making, and many, many people want to punish me for that. Maybe including you.
You're telling me to drop out of high school?
Good question. Yes.
Well, that's not good advice.
I don't think leaving high school is the answer.
No.
I don't think leaving anything is.
Ooh.
Is I kind of admired you.
No, you don't.
Come on. I'll drive you home.
No teacher would offer to do that these days. Accusations and things that could happen, even though nothing would happen, I'm sure, but you just got to be so careful, haven't you? You wouldn't offer to give a student a lift home on their own. It's Brian.
So is it like anyone's car you won't get into? I mean, he's old. He's a teacher.
What, you think I, did something with him?
That's why you have to be careful. Accusations.
Are you okay?
Were they okay with her going to see him? That's a bit weird.
Every fight is not worth fighting.
Pick your battles.
And you can't
win every fight. You just have to pick your battles.
And the oak tree looks down on us still. Beautiful. Excellent grammar, impeccable punctuation. It is a little difficult to read, of course, with this footprint. Angela Chase? Angela Chase?
She's not there. Where is she? She's reprinting the magazine.
We have the Liberty Lit. It's free.
Ah!
Liberty Lit.
Oh.
I could take some of those and hand them out upstairs.
Why?
Because I think you're right. This is freedom of speech.
She's about to get in trouble.
She's just passing out something that our English class wrote. Since when is that a crime? Would you like to join her, Brian?
I can go by myself.
He stood up for her, but she took it, all responsibility.
I can see that you really took what we talked about the other day to heart.
You told me to pick my battles.
She picked this one.
Well, this is it. I just think it's wrong to censor people, and I'm willing to get suspended for it.
Racine, what he did, walking out on his family. You know that could never happen in our family. You know that, don't you?
Oh, she also knows about
Oh, God, I hate being called to the principal.
him and that woman he was seeing. Or she has suspicions.
And yet not only did you distribute it, you reproduced it using school equipment and supplies. Isn't that right?
Oh, I thought she did it at her parents' work. I thought she used the printers there to do it. I didn't know she did it at school. That's not good, because yeah, that's using up all the school paper and photocopy toner and stuff.
I'm not going to suspend you.
But
I'm willing to forget about this one isolated incident. It's over.
oh, she wanted to be suspended though. She wanted to be punished for taking a stand.
One morning she woke up. She woke up.
So has this kind of changed something in her now? Are we going to see this going forwards in the future episodes? That she's going to be a bit more, I don't say rebellious, because it's not quite the right word, but she seems to be put by a bit more of a by-the-book student up to now, so is this going to have opened her a bit to other things? That was quite a good episode. I quite enjoyed it. I was trying to think about the teachers I had. We didn't have substitute teachers like that. I think you do in America. They do have teachers like that. I'm just trying to go on. I'm trying to say. Well, teachers in general. I did have one teacher who was probably one of my favorite teachers. My maths teacher. He was a younger teacher than other ones, and he was a little more casual with us than other teachers were. So I can understand how having a teacher who tries to relate to you can encourage you to do more in class. I think he did. He's a nice guy as well. He was a good teacher. So yeah, I can understand it. I can also understand the backlash that happened in this episode because of that poem. Yeah, I don't quite know what the right answer is to that, because we saw his methods got a lot out of his pupils. Yeah, don't know. What do you think? Should that poem have been included in the magazine or not? Interested to know what other people's perspectives are on this one. I'm torn. I can see the benefits, but I can also see the downside as well. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether we see changes in Angela going forward now? Or is it just this episode that's happened and then she's back to normal? Not sure. We'll find out. So yeah, let me know what you thought about this one in the comments below, and she'll see you for the next one. Be seeing you.